We're pretty fortunate living in the West, where most major cities have natural areas that one can get away from the hustle and the bustle of the city in minutes. Reno has the Sierra Nevada, Las Vegas, Mount Charleston, Denver, the Rockies, and in Salt Lake we're surrounded by mountains. But there's one special park that can even take you back in time hundreds and thousands of years. Welcome to Dimple Dell Park. This is one huge nature park in southeast Salt Lake County. I mean, this thing's bigger than the entire state of Delaware.
It is not.
Okay, it's bigger than the entire state of Rhode Island.
No, it's not. Do you guys always exaggerate? This is 644 acres of local natural landscape, which makes it the largest local park in the state of Utah. Dimple Dell Park is located in southeast Salt Lake County. It runs all the way from 3rd East, almost to Wasatch Boulevard, between 9800 South and 106 South. And it's a haven for horseback riders, runners, bicyclists, nature lovers, historians, and hikers.
And it's a great place to take a walk with the kids, or in our case, the grandkids, Taylor and Tallulah.
There are many access points to the park, one of them being the more developed Granite Park with its paved trails and playground. But just get off the cement and follow the sand trail to the south, and you are seeing the landscape just the way it was when the pioneers arrived, one of the few such places left in the county.
Yes, around the edges there are homes, but once you get down off the high ground, you'd never know you're in an urban area. Diane Rollins has been hiking this area since 1988.
People just don't realize what's here.
Exactly.
And the creek running. Well, you don't get to see that very often.
Dimple Dell Park is also known as the Gully, or Dry Creek Canyon. Now, Dry Creek may seem like an oxymoron, but it is actually dry much of the year.
It's still going, and it's a long season for that creek, which is wonderful.
When it flows, though, from usually late May to early July, it is beautiful. Icy waters coming from high atop Bell Canyon on the park's northeast corner. A footbridge is one of the few concessions to civilization at one location. It was only installed 3 years ago. Nearby is an amphitheater built in the 90s, but other than a neighborhood Easter egg hunt, it is seldom used.
The pioneers didn't need an amphitheater to appreciate the gully. This historic marker indicates a shady grove used more than 100 years ago. And this gentle valley known as the Dimple Dell area. In the days of the Salt Lake Temple construction, quarry workers and their families used this spot as a retreat for picnics.
And before the pioneers, the Fremont Indians called this area home.
And before the Fremont Indians, this was an inlet bay of prehistoric Lake Bonneville, 10,000 years ago.
Was there like a lake here or something?
Yeah, the giant Lake Bonneville. It ran from Idaho almost down to St. George, covered all of western Utah and right up in here. And these were the shorelines of Lake Bonneville. The sandy trails and the sand dunes of the park tell that story.
And in some areas, the sand gives way to granite boulders, a playground for squirrels, and a playground for kids looking for the squirrels. This is the Flanders Interpretive Trail, a 3/4 of a mile circle approximately at 17th East.
Okay. Flanders Point is one of the last remaining areas in Salt Lake County where we can view the landscape as it was when pioneers ventured into the Salt Lake Valley.
This is really a great little family hike because of the signs indicating what plants grow here and why they're important. And signs telling you what you can see in the distance, the distant past.
During the winter, the original settlers, the pioneers, would take their horses and mules up the mountains, right in that area, to cut down trees. They'd drag the logs through snow with chains to what is known today as the old pioneer log slide. You can see the log slide. If you look at those rocks, just to the left, see it looks like a little slide, like an alpine slide? That's where the pioneers would slide the logs down the mountain.
And if you can't remember your high school botany, the Flanders Trail will tell you what the state grass is and where to see it. There are plenty of evening primroses to see, as well as many other flowers at different times of spring, summer, and fall. Thistle. Say that?
Thistle.
Thistle. It's kind of a hard one to say, isn't it? Be careful.
A deep canopy of cottonwoods and elms surrounds the stream bed near 13th East. About 10 years ago, this area burned and many of the beautiful tall trees were lost. You can still see the dead trunks today, but the area is coming back and provides a haven from the sun for hikers, horses, and a host of wildlife.
In fact, it's a rare day when one doesn't see wildlife in the park. Maybe one of the 63 species of birds, from turkey vultures and red-tailed hawks to chickadees, bluebirds, and quail.
And don't forget the domestic animals. There are 3 parking lots for horse trailers, and on most warm weekends, those lots are full. Equestrians can ride the wider woodchip trails or the naturally narrow trails throughout the park.
Oh, it's fantastic. We just love it here because, you have all the different terrains, the ups and the downs, the smooth parts, and people are really nice and courteous.
Another thing about this park, no motorized vehicles allowed, keeping it quiet enough to hear the sounds of nature.
So, did you girls learn anything today?
I did.
What?
What'd you learn?
I learned that there was all different kinds of things, and my favorite thing was a grasshopper.
The grasshoppers?
The grasshoppers.
What did you learn about who came here before we did?
The pioneers.
The pioneers, that's
What'd you
right.
learn, Taylor?
I learned that the pioneers took logs in the winter and pulled them down the log slides behind us.
And you could actually see that log flume, huh? Well, it's amazing you can have such an adventure right here in Salt Lake County and almost in your backyard. You just don't have to travel that far to enjoy yourself. For At Your Leisure, I'm Terry along with Taylor, Tallulah,
And Susan Wood.